here we are again. Still plugging away, still nowhere close to being done, but this is my side of finished aluminum. That's the aluminum pile that I have yet to do. This stuff has all had acid bath. Here's the stuff that I got. It's called Duragloss. I got it off Amazon because none of the local stores really carry it. Marine and RV aluminum cleaner. So it's basically just an acid you spray on there and wait a few minutes, and I used some Scotch-Brite and scrubbed it a little bit, especially on these windows, the jalousie windows. A lot in here. Scrubbed it with Scotch-Brite after the acid in those areas, and they really look so much better. All these screens for the windows, I put new screens in there, which was incredibly simple. Really happy I did it. I think they look way better, and I went with a black netting versus the gray. I think I like the window, the kind of the window tint effect of that for those windows, and all the trim that's been polished. And I have gotten the screen door all fixed up and ready to stain. I stripped it and then I sanded it. I put a new screen on it. I've thrown away the old screen to compare it, but the bottom part was ripped and coming out and the top one was old. This one I went, these are two different types of screens for the width. The ones on the windows are kind of a plasticky material, and this one is a actual like metal net mesh. So flip it around. It was pretty easy to do this one as well. I just took off these bits of trim, and then the net was the screen was stapled to the door underneath, and just pulled out the staples, ripped off the old screen, and then cut this piece and re-stapled it in there. I wish this would focus. And then stapled it down. These pieces will go back over here, over there, the little sliding door thing. Those are all stripped and sanded as well. So I'm going to give that a couple coats of stain. I also, when I think of it, I filled these gaps with wood putty, wood filler, to make it nice and seamless. But yeah, that'll get a couple coats of stain, depending on how it looks. I'll do one at a time, see how it looks, maybe keep going, maybe not, and then the final coat will be the lacquer, probably a coat or two of that, and make it look good. Side project for the parents. And as far as the trailer, the hardest part of this project, I've discovered, is now complete. It's getting dark out here. And the hardest part was getting that stupid crescent moon cut in there, because I want to have the bare aluminum on this strip, as I've mentioned before, paint over the top of all this, and then before I put the clear coat on, I'll pull this tape off and it'll leave the nice shiny aluminum border. And man, that sucked, because the turn is so tight that you can't just fit a piece of tape on there because it gets all bunched up. You can't make that curve with it. So I went through a bunch of different ideas. There's artist's tape, but that's mostly used for canvas, so I didn't think it would be durable enough to put, like, 6 coats of paint on top of it and leave a clean edge. So what I ended up doing was taking thick, you can't see it in there, it's too dark, thick frog tape. It was like 1.5 inches, and I made vertical strips of it. I'll back up. So I put like 3 vertical strips of the frog tape, and then I tried to do a stencil of the old one that was on the door, the old design, but they didn't totally match up. Each one's a little bit different, so I had to find something to trace. So I'll show you the other side. Hopefully it's light enough, where it's got all 3 of them, because they're 3 different sized crescent moons: big, medium, and small. Wish it was lighter. I'll do the example over here. And so I basically found 3 objects that were that size. So for the small one, it was like a small plate. For the middle one, it was a serving platter. And for the big one, it was a garbage can lid. And so I put it on there. Like I said, I got the 3 strips of vertical tape. I put it on there and made the inside edge along the edge of my object. Took it away, and then this has got to be 3/4 of an inch. So I basically measured 3/4 of. I took a 3/4 of an inch piece of tape and just made a bunch of dots all the way down there. Connected the dots on both sides, and I just drew with the Sharpie, drew those lines, and then I took a razor blade and cut it out, and it left that. And we'll see what it looks like when I pull it off. Fingers crossed that it works, but at least it made a pretty good edge. And yeah, I wanted to make a nice clean point there. Good enough. It won't be perfect, but it should be pretty good. So now I just have to spray over those spots with primer, and the whole trailer will be primed and ready to start painting, hopefully tomorrow after work. Over here, the roof is done completely. It's a little bit messy right now because it's been raining a little bit and the rain's been coming through the tarp, but the roof is done. I came to this edge basically on both sides. Just got the tape, roof tape on there, the sealer tape, and then I did a whole gallon of Flex Seal up here as well. The vent kind of looks like crap right now, but it's got fingerprints on it, but it's really nice and shiny. That's all done. Put the butyl tape underneath the edge of the vent, put it back down. Then I put the sealant tape on top of that, and then finally the Flex Seal on top of all of it. That should be pretty good. I ended up doing basically 3 small coats of the Flex Seal with that 1 gallon. On the front, I don't remember if I covered this or not yet. Too freaking dark. I patched that little hole. Yeah, it's too dark. Ugh. Anyway, that's the progress report. Can't really show you the vent probably, but it's super nice and shiny. I'm really proud of it right now. Can't see anything. I've taken out the cushions. I've been talking to an upholstery lady. Can't see them in the back of my truck. Whatever. It's too dark. It's 9:30 at night. Sun's going down. I'm taking the cushions to go get reupholstered. It's a pretty simple job actually, because it's basically just a board with a cushion on it, and then the upholstery wraps over it and you just staple it on the other side. But I don't have time to do all of this stuff myself, and the lady's really good and very affordable, so she's gonna do that. And she might also do the canvas that comes off the top, which reminds me I need to measure that and get her the dimensions of the canvas that I need, and I'll get a quote from her and see if that's something I'm ready to do, because I need it. And yeah, that's pretty much the update for now. Slow and steady, plugging away. Good night.